Welcome back to Marvelous Videos. I'm Rylan, and today we'll be looking at the top 10 Predaliens, so interesting and deadly that you will binge watch the AVP films. The Predator franchise has created several hybrids of the Yautja. Some of these were conceived via DNA splicing, while others were done through natural processes. The same goes for the Xenomorphs, who had very different strains depending on the host that the facehugger chose. However, the most famous and lethal of these is the amalgamation of the Predators and aliens, also known as the Predaliens. In this video, we will take a closer look into the top 10 most interesting and powerful Predaliens of all time. So, let's cut to the chase, shall we?
Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin.
Number 1. Abomination. In Alien 3, Ellen Ripley found herself on the penal colony planet Fiorina 161, which was being ravaged by a dog alien. She rallied the prisoners into fighting the menace, but later realized that she herself was carrying an alien embryo.
Oh, look.
The Abomination Predalien appeared in the 2010 game Alien vs. Predator that takes place sometime after the events of Alien 3. In the game, the Weyland-Yutani Corporation finds the Yautja ruins in the dense jungles of a planet called BG-386. The company builds a research base close to the mining colony of Freya's Prospect, with the intention of learning about the Yautjas and the Xenomorphs, which the Yautjas hunted on BG-386. The researchers find an ancient Xenomorph queen,
key to great wealth and power. You are special,
that the Predators had captured to birth new Xenomorphs that would serve as prey. As is normal with the Weyland-Yutani and its scientists, they started to breed drones, using innocent people from Freya's Prospect for their research. In their barbaric quest for knowledge, the researchers find an abnormally huge Yautja temple and attempt to infiltrate it. However, things do not go as planned, and an energy pulse releases the Xenomorphs that they have been holding captive. Ultimately, colonial marines arrive to stop the alien infestation, but the Yautjas weren't far behind. They couldn't see their technology falling into the wrong hands. Several elite Yautjas came to BG-386 when the colonial marines and Xenomorphs killed many young bloods. One of these elites was Wolf, who engaged with a Xenomorph drone called Specimen 6.
You still fill me with awe. You are a biotechnical treasure waiting to be exploited.
This alien was bred in captivity and got its name from the branding of the numeral 6 on its head. Wolf had the upper hand for most of the battle, but Specimen 6 played dead, only to attack Wolf later. Instead of killing the latter, the Xenomorph removed the biohelmet and let a facehugger impregnate him. The resultant chestburster would come to be known as the extremely fierce Abomination. The Abomination soon started to unleash its wrath on the colonists and the colonial marines. Like a predator, it collected trophies from its victims, and, like a Xenomorph, it held no qualms for violence. The Abomination was then noticed by another elite named Dark, who was tasked by his clan leader, Spartan, to finish off the disgrace that Abomination was. Dark and the Abomination faced each other in the fighting arena of the Yautja Pyramid, which was flooding with lava. Dark defeated Abomination, and interestingly, it celebrated the victory in the same manner that was done by Lord, the first Xenomorph slayer. Number 2. LV-1201 Predalien. This fierce beast first appeared in the 2002 game Alien vs. Predator 2 Primal Hunt as a playable character. The game was basically a prequel to the game Alien vs. Predator. According to the story, Yautjas found the planet LV-1201 500 years before the Weyland-Yutani Company first discovered it, and the Yautjas established a hunting ground for their young bloods by morphing the existent Xenomorph hive. 500 years before the events of Alien vs. Predator 2, a facehugger emerged from an ovomorph on LV-1201, and the Yautja's camps were breached. The facehugger managed to locate an ancient predator that was repairing a stasis field generator in the facility. The facehugger then struck the predator, and both of them were incapacitated by the reactivated stasis field. 500 years later, when Weyland-Yutani first built their base at LV-1201, the Predalien chestburster emerged from its predator host inside Pod 5. As a chestburster, it sneaks and scurries through the vents and corridors to reach the pod's morgue, where it feeds and transforms into an adult Predalien. As an adult, it presumably had the knowledge from its host about an engineer weapon that went looking for it, likely to destroy it. But it cannot reach the weapon because the straight path was blocked by the wreckage from a prior battle between humans and Xenomorphs. Naturally, the beast had to look for another route, so it chooses to go through the botanical laboratories. But alarms began to blare, signaling the destruction of the facility. It soon abandons its hunt for the engineer artifact and flees to save its own life, managing to escape the collapse. Out of all the Predaliens that we have encountered in games, it bears the most resemblance with a predator, while the Abomination bears the least. Number 3. Ryushi Predalien. The magnificently deadly creature appeared in the 1995 comic titled Aliens vs. Predator: Duel. The planet Ryushi has 2 suns, which made the climate incredibly hot and arid for life hard to develop. A colony on Ryushi, named Prosperity Wells, was visited by a Yautja hunting party, who unleashed Xenomorphs for the blooding ritual. Deshande was the Yautja leader, who would lead unblooded Yautjas to hunt so that they could finish their rites. His ship dropped Xenomorph eggs on the planet, so that they could be used by other Yautjas to kill and gain the blooded status. However, Deshande was unaware that there was a human colony that was residing there as well, so when the Xenomorphs started massacring them, Deshande took it upon himself to be the savior, as it was happening all due to him. The comic AVP Duel takes place after these events, when a platoon of United States colonial marines arrives at Ryushi after responding to a non-human distress call. They discover a mothership, which they began to investigate, but are soon attacked by a Xenomorph queen. However, some of the Marines manage to extract an unconscious Yautja from the vessel. They attempt to go on their own spacecraft Brilliant, but to their horror, a chestburster emerges from the unconscious predator and manages to escape. In the chaos, other predators attack the squad and destroy their spacecraft with a plasma bazooka. They attempt to retreat from the spot, but what they don't know is that the chestburster has latched onto their vehicle. They head for the ruins of the destroyed colony and set up a perimeter against the Yautjas. However, the Predalien surprise attacks them from behind. The men fire at the Predalien, and it seemingly escapes, but the Yautja clan hears the gunfire and comes running for him. The leader of the colonial marines, Glass, detonates the mine that he and his men had set for the Yautjas, killing several of them. Ultimately, he is caught up with a one-armed predator named Lightstepper and the Predalien. As should be expected, Lightstepper attacks what he thinks is the vilest abomination, and Glass helps the predator in his fight. The Ryushi Predalien was by far the star of the comic, and his grotesque appearance in the jet black skin shade. It also managed to subdue the extremely powerful and experienced predator Lightstepper, if only temporarily. Number 4. Earth Predalien. After appearing briefly in Alien vs. Predator, the Earth Predalien proved to be the prime antagonist of Aliens vs. Predator Requiem. It came to life when a facehugger impregnated a mighty and young Yautja named Scar. Scar had arrived on Earth, and his brothers, Celtic and Chopper, at the Razorback Point whaling station in the Antarctic, to get blooded by slaying a Xenomorph. Scar managed to kill the alien and removed his mask to mark himself with the Xenomorph blood. But when he removed his mask to do so, Facehugger latched onto his mouth and impregnated him with a chestburster embryo. At the end of the film, he was mortally wounded by the Antarctic Queen Xenomorph. After his death, the Yautja mothership appeared to take away Scar's corpse with honor and respect. Unfortunately, the predators who gathered the body didn't know that a chestburster was growing inside. Just as the mothership began its journey, a chestburster emerged from Scar's body and went straight to the scout ship that was attached. The mini-alien molted at an accelerated rate and soon matured into an adult Predalien. It began massacring the crew, but one of the predators, named Bull, managed to send a distress call and alert his kind about the Predalien. Another predator named Wolf received the signal from Bull's scout ship and came to Earth to finish off the monstrosity. The scout ship crashed into the town of Gunnison and began hunting the homeless people living close to the sewers. Wolf reached Earth and was in hot pursuit of the Predalien, tracking and shooting it with a plasma caster. Unfortunately, he misfired, creating a hole in the sewers that gave way for the Earth Predalien to the street above. Next, the Predalien started searching and impregnating women. It reached the local hospital and entered the maternity wing. Here, the massacre was gory and bloody, even for the strongest of hearts. Wolf reached the clinic only to get attacked by the Predalien once more. Here, both the beasts mortally wounded each other and awaited their deaths just as the US government sent a Lockheed Martin F-22 Raptor loaded with a nuke, which was the end of the two. Interestingly, it is believed that a Predalien queen was a biological impossibility, but the film AVP Requiem featured a juvenile Predalien queen. Number 5. Queen Predalien, or the Pred Queen. The Predalien Queen was first introduced in the 2003 real-time strategy video game Alien vs. Predator: Extinction. It was a creation of Dr. Samuel Kadinsky, who bioengineered the Abomination. The Pred Queen was the queen of the Xenomorph hive on LV-742, which was overflowing with all sorts of Xenomorphs, like Praetorians, Carriers, Ravagers, and other Predaliens. She was a formidable queen who was adept to spreading chaos through several ovomorphs. To restrict her growth, the Yautja Society sent the rarely used military clan to take care of her. She was slain and her head was collected as a trophy to be placed on the Predator Shrine. The Pred Queen functioned largely as a Xenomorph queen, and performed similar tasks like protecting her hive, laying eggs, and populating the world with more and more Xenomorphs. But unlike other Xenomorphs who have a black or even gray skin, the Pred Queen has a brownish hue to her skin, much like predators, or most Predaliens. She lacked Predatorian dreadlocks, and the secondary pair of arms of a regular Xenomorph queen, but she did retain the mandibles and the typical head crest. It is important to note that the Predalien Queen was created only for the video game, and hence, she doesn't have any backstory or lore per se, but it is widely believed that the Predator host was a bad blood predator. To learn more about the various kinds of queens and the Flying Queen or Vampiric Queen, you can check out our video 13 Dreadful and Slimy Xenomorph Queen Variants that will give you a peek inside the ghastly world of the Alien franchise. Number 6. The Berserker Alien. The Berserker Alien was introduced in the 2013 game AVP Evolution. This title revolves around the blood feud between two predator clans, namely the Large Hunter clan and the Super Predator clan. The tensions were raising mercury levels to great extents, and in order to finally finish the Jungle Hunters once and for all, the Super Predators thought of using an unwilling and unlikely ally in the form of a Xenomorph queen and her children. One can play the game as either an alien or a predator from the Jungle Hunter clan. As an alien, one must slay the super predators and free the slimy, slithering, acidic species from enslavement. And as a member of the Jungle Hunter clan, one must eliminate the alien queen so that you can stop the super predators from destroying your clan. The Berserker super predator was impregnated at some point during the narrative and evolved into an ultimate killing machine with exaggerated speed and strength. It was, and still is, one of the fiercest and most powerful xenomorph variants ever witnessed in either games or movies. Its armor was about 50% more than that of a drone, and about as much as that of a Praetorian. If we compare the Berserker alien with the drones of this game, it deals far more damage with its claws, hands, and tail. As far as its speed is concerned, it is as fast as a runner cast xenomorph, and has double the velocity of a regular drone. The next 4 Predaliens on this list are rather discreet, and hence not much is known about them, but we have tried to compile as much information as we could find. Number 7. The Cursed Earth Predalien. The Cursed Earth Predator appeared in the crossover comic Predator vs. Judge Dredd vs. Aliens, Splice, and Dice. It was one of the most fascinating sci-fi crossovers that pitted Judge Dredd, the ultimate judge, jury, and executioner, against the universe's prime hunters, the Predators, and the apex killing machines, the Xenomorphs. The Cursed Earth Predalien was brought to life when a mad scientist named Dr. Ryushi and his henchmen captured a lone predator and used it as a host for a xenomorph. Dr. Ryushi had also found a xenomorph skull and extracted its DNA to make a xenomorph egg. This Predalien was a formidable xenomorph with mandibles, dreadlocks, and even tusks. Ultimately, Judge Dredd joined hands with the Yautjas to bring down the horror and stop Dr. Ryushi from creating any more. Let us know in the comments below if you want us to do a deeper dive into this comic. Number 8. Mad Predator's Predalien. This Predalien was a predator infectoid who was one of the bosses in the 1994 game Alien vs. Predator. Once the Mad Professor was defeated, it revealed that he was crazy because of being impregnated with a xenomorph embryo. He had turned into a bad blood predator and killed his own clan members, keeping their skulls as trophies. Number 9. Area 52 Predalien. We've always wondered what lies within the boundaries of places like Area 51 and even Area 52. Anyway, if the 1999 game, Alien vs. Predator, is to be believed, then Area 52 is home to a Predalien. This one was the first 3D representation of one and had red skin instead of the regular brown or grayish skin. Number 10. Dave Dorman's Predalien. 20th Century Fox hired the legendary artist Dave Dorman to design the first Predalien. Of course, there is no backstory or lore to this one, but it can be said beyond any doubt that every other Predalien was based on him, daddy of all Predaliens.
And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks everyone.